on, Steelers Talk. It is Wild Card Week here in Steelers Nation, and we can't wait to break down all the Steelers news and rumors heading into Sunday's matchup against the Buffalo Bills. We already put out our preview this week, so if you guys want to go check that out, you can do that after today's live show. But today, we're going to be going over the latest news and rumors. We're going to be talking about J.J. Watt. Is there any shot that he signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Going to let you know what I think about that rumor. Also, I'm going to tell you why Mason Rudolph is a better quarterback than Joe Flacco today at Matthew Peterson, our Browns host. We got into a big fight about this yesterday. I'm going to unequivocally prove that Mason Rudolph has had the better season than Joe Flacco today on today's show. And then also, I'm going to be talking about, speaking of quarterbacks, I'm going to be talking about the three quarterbacks that I think could be the Steelers' Week 1 starter heading into next season, all right? I think there's only three quarterbacks that even have a chance to be the Steelers' starting quarterback next year. Going to let you know who those three quarterbacks are on today's show. And then, of course, we have our weekly Steelers Talk Live mailbag. You can get your questions in by using hashtag Steelers down there in the chat or Super Chat to get on the show. And by the way, if you Super Chat, you get to skip the line and you get your questions first on today's mailbag. As you can see, Coop is already waving his terrible towel. Here we go, Steelers! Here we go! Here we go, Steelers! Here we go! Here we go, Steelers! Here we go! Coop, how you doing this week, buddy?
It's Wild Card Week, baby. Big week for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's see if they can pull out an upset in Buffalo. Looks like it's going to be cold, maybe a little windy.
Very windy. I think it's supposed to be like 25 or 30 mile per hour winds. So it's going to be tough to throw the football once again for this matchup. Last week, of course, it was cold. It was rainy. Very tough to move the football through the air. But now because of these wind conditions and because of how cold it's going to be, and we might even get some snow in Buffalo this weekend, it seems like that's going to work in the Steelers' favor.
I was going to say, I think that works in the Steelers' favor, especially if they can keep it on the ground with Najee and Warren, keep both of those guys fresh and just play ground and pound.
Now, of course, like we know Josh Allen has a rocket arm, all right? And his throw can really cut through the wind, right? So it's definitely possible that actually works in the favor of the Buffalo Bills, because if Josh Allen is able to throw the football, and then no one on the Steelers is going to be able to. Obviously, that really works in Buffalo's favor. But if Josh Allen struggles to throw it in the wind and in the cold this weekend, that means it comes down to which team can run the football more effectively. And I think that with the way the Steelers' run game going right now with Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren, I would have to argue that the Pittsburgh Steelers might have a little bit of an advantage there.
Yeah, I think they could as well. Now, I did see that Najee popped up on the injury report today, but I think it's more just maintenance.
Yeah, he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
He's going to be playing on Sunday, obviously. So let me know down there in the comment section. It's actually our pin poll today as well. Who do you guys got for this weekend? Do you think the Steelers shock the world? They are 10.5-point underdogs heading into this week. But you know what, man? We had a 3% chance to make the playoffs 3 weeks ago.
They never give us a chance.
They never give us a chance. We love being the underdogs here. So what do you guys think? Do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Buffalo Bills? If you guys watched my preview or our preview here earlier this week, I actually did predict the Bills. But now that I know that the winds are going to be higher and it's going to be super cold,
I'll tell you
and
this.
all these different things, I wouldn't shock me if the Pittsburgh Steelers win this week. And by the way, Coop, we said it on our live show.
If we beat the Bills, we're beating the Ravens.
If we beat the Bills, we're beating the Ravens, and we're going to the AFC Championship. Mark my words on that.
Oh, that would be
right
wild.
now. Okay, so we got over 125 people watching right now, just 25 likes. So do me a favor right now. Click that thumbs up icon to start today's show, and let us know down there in the chat who you guys got. I see Rodolfo is here. He says Pittsburgh. Leo says but. I don't even know what that means. Then we got Lil Slush says 2017 Steelers win. You know what, Coop? I'm not even sure how easy it's going to be to kick. So I'm not even sure if there's going to be any field goals.
Yeah, well, depending on how hefty the wind is, it could definitely significantly impact the kicking game.
I will say, would this be crazy? 13-6 Steelers win. 2 missed extra points.
Oh my gosh, that would be crazy.
Would that be nuts or what? I don't know, man. It's going to be a weird game, but that definitely works in the favor of the Pittsburgh Steelers because if this was in clear conditions, I think it would be pretty obviously Buffalo, probably coming away with the victory here. They got my MVP of the league this year and Josh Allen. I know a lot of people say Lamar. Personally, I think Lamar has been the most valuable player in the league this year. But it's definitely going to be interesting. So before we get into the rest of our coverage today, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, Game Time. Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. Guys, I'm somebody that loves to get tickets last minute, and if you're like me, Game Time will be perfect for you. It'll be the only ticketing app that you need on your phone because they got the lowest price guarantee, and then they also have flash deals right before game time, right before your event that you're trying to go to, so you get even better prices right before the event starts. It's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you're set. Tickets are also sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through that pesky email to get your tickets. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code SteelersChat. That's one word, all caps. It's right down there in the bottom right of your screen for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code SteelersChat, one word, all caps, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. And we got one from Steelers Dad, Gold Club member with a $10 super chat. And he says, Steelers win because we have the better run game. Their best runner is Josh. You know, James Cook has actually come into his own in the second half of the season. So Joe Brady's their offensive coordinator has kind of done a really good job ever since they fired Ken Dorsey earlier this season. And Josh Allen is definitely going to be dangerous this week. All right, so
cheers to you, Steelers Dad.
All right, so we said we haven't even shown the super chat menu, but we did say $10 super chats. We'll take shots for you guys here. So shout out to Steelers Dad for a $5 super chat. We'll do a Rudolph the third string QB song. $20, Coop will slap the crap out of me with a tortilla, and then $100.
Pretty sure we have tortillas.
We do have tortillas, and then we have actually a bunch of them. They just stocked up on them. And then $100 total on today's stream will get you into Steelers Talk Gold Club for life. You get a shout out on every show, and you just saw it with Steelers Dad's super chat there. You get a super chat sticker that says Steelers Talk Gold Club for life every single time that you send in super chat. So shout out to you, Steelers Dad. Now let's talk a little bit about the recent rumor coming from ESPN's Adam Schefter that Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin may consider leaving the Pittsburgh Steelers after this season. Now, I personally do not think that there's any credence to this rumor whatsoever.
Yeah, me neither.
So pretty much the way that I feel about this is that Mike Tomlin loves the Pittsburgh Steelers. He embodies what this organization stands for and what we really value with this football club. And, especially when we were talking about the team that gave him his big break. He hasn't taken a break in 17 years. I get that he might want to take a little bit of a breather, whatever the case may be. But not Mike Tomlin, man. This guy doesn't run out of gas, in my opinion. He's already involved in team planning activities, not just for the 2024 season, but the 2025 season. So the Pittsburgh Steelers...
Hold on. We have breaking news here.
We have breaking news. Okay, what's up?
According to Ari Mirov, Alabama...
More than just Ari.
Alabama's head coach Nick Saban is retiring.
Oh.
Nick Saban!
Nick Saban is retiring. Oh my
Wow.
gosh, that is some shocking news. I'm literally just hearing this for the first time. Oh my goodness.
That's the greatest college coach of all time.
One of the greatest football coaches, period, of all time. Definitely the greatest college coach of all time. Retires from Alabama.
That's a huge job opening right there as well.
Who's their offensive coordinator right now?
Their offensive coordinator is Tommy Rees. It will not be him.
It will not be him.
He stinks. Your top candidates right now, off the top of my head.
Bill O'Brien?
Maybe. Kirby Smart is a top candidate. He was the defensive coordinator under Saban.
Yeah, but he's saying
He's going to stay at Georgia.
He's staying in Georgia.
You look at a guy like Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss.
Lane Kiffin is a possibility.
This is crazy.
Sark.
Don't do that to me.
See ya, Sark.
Don't do that to me. That's a crazy one, though. Wow. That's a bombshell.
That is absolutely unbelievable, man. Nick Saban, shout out to that guy. Is Belichick next?
Oh, you know who it's going to be?
Who is
it's going to be Dabo.
Do you think it'll be Dabo?
Dabo, alum of Alabama.
Yeah.
Tight with Nick Saban.
Clemson
run its course at Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't shock me if it's Dabo. He can really build a culture, that's for damn sure. But yeah, Nick Saban, legendary head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, has retired.
That's crazy. It won't be Mike Tomlin. He will not be the next head coach at Alabama.
Yeah, and by the way, if I have to put a number to this, percent chance Mike Tomlin is back in 2024, at this point I'm saying 99%.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
I'd agree.
There's always that little chance that after 17 years, Mike Tomlin says, you know what, I've had enough of this. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to get traded to another team. I want a fresh start elsewhere. But listen, man, I said this in yesterday's video. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are a quarterback and an offensive coordinator away from getting back to competing for Super Bowls. Now, it'd be one thing if the Steelers were bad, right? If they were in the position of like the New England Patriots or a team that's looking to rebuild. But the Steelers are not in that position. They still have T.J. Watt. They still have Minka Fitzpatrick. They still have Alex Highsmith. They just got Joey Porter Jr., Nick Herbig, Keanu Benson, George Pickens. They got a bunch of young talent, a bunch of veteran talent. If you get the right quarterback and offensive coordinator, I think Tomlin is ready to get this team to compete for Super Bowls again. So it just doesn't seem like good timing on Tomlin's part to leave this organization. And it also just doesn't really seem like a Mike Tomlin thing to do, to just pack up and leave a place that he's been 17 years without pretty much a fair warning, especially after a playoff run. So I want to give a little bit of a shout out here to our Gold Club members. These are the people that have put in at least $100 on any Steelers Talk live stream in the past. So shout out to Austin, Mo Love, Brian, Anthony, Nathan, James, DJV, Patty, Elliptic 6, Alexander, Zach, Troy, Andrew, Jesse, Go Blue Buckeye, Sam, Hot Rod 24, Black and Gold Emperor 40, Lord Buddy Bear, Max Payne, Chad, F1 Video Watcher, Steelers Dad, K Drizzy, Andrew, Jesper, Jacob, Nightmare, Sporting, DJ KJ, Gwendolyn, Latanya, Etheria, Jesper, Kenny Pickettsburg, Ryan, Marilyn, Matthew, and then also I want to give a big shout out to our Black Diamonds. These are the craziest of the crazy, the Steelers Talk legends. These are the people that have put in at least $500 on a single stream. So big shout out here to Samuel Pugh, F1 Video Watcher, Nathan Glass, Kurgan Cold, Go Blue Buckeye, Elliptic 6, and Gwendolyn. You could be next, but listen, man, $500 is a lot of money. We understand that. We usually don't get them here on our live show. Usually get those on the watch party. And I also said yesterday, if you went and followed me on my Twitter, that I would give you a shout out on today's show. So here's today's Twitter shout outs. Shout out to Matthew, Lewis, Down the Stretch Sports Podcast, Andy, Marilyn Krieger is that one right there, Abel, Graham, JJ Paradise, Jesse Kennedy, Mike W, SC Tom, Shane Reich, Eric, Harry Cooper, Zachary Cooper, and Smells Like Shit, Looks Like Shit. It's probably shit. That is an unbelievable name right there. But shout out to each and every one of you for giving me a shout or for giving me a follow on Twitter. That's where I put all my film analysis on there. I'm going to be ramping up a lot of my film stuff on my Twitter because of the NFL draft upcoming. So if you want to learn more about football, you want daily updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers outside of this YouTube channel, you can go give me a follow at Jack_Sperry. And if you do so, I will give you a shout out on a future Steelers Talk video. Again, at Jack_Sperry on Twitter/X to get a shout out on a future video right here on Steelers Talk. Now, we're going to be getting into our first segment today, which is news and rumors surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers heading into the wild card weekend here. But before we do that, make sure you click that thumbs up icon, man. Got 150 people watching, 45 likes. We need to get to at least 50 likes before we get into our first segment. And by the way, Coop, you're going to hate me right now.
Oh, no.
I don't have my charger right now, and I'm low on battery. So So I know you. I know.
Everyone type F Sperry in the chat.
Everybody
I'll be
spam.
back.
Everybody spam F Sperry. I'm already hooked up to our microphone system, so Coop's got to go get my. It's in my backpack. Yeah. Yeah. So classic Sperry for getting the charger. So make sure you guys go down right now. Click that thumbs up icon while we're waiting for Coop. We just passed 50, so once Coop gets back and I get my computer plugged in, we can get going here with our first segment today. I got to say, man, it's going to be very interesting this weekend to see how the weather conditions affect this football game because I think, with TJ Watt out and all these different things, the Bills coming in red hot off of 5 straight wins, they're home, all these different benefits that they have right now, they might be negated by the fact that this game this weekend, it's going to be like -0 in terms of the wind chill. It's going to be super windy, right? It's going to be tough to kick field goals, right? This game might come down to which team runs the football more effectively. There's Coop showing you guys the charger. Appreciate you, buddy. All right, so let's get this plugged in and let's get this live show underway here. Got the latest news and rumors coming up. I'm going to tell you why Mason Rudolph is better than Joe Flacco. I hope our Browns host Matthew Peterson just heard me say that because it is absolutely the truth. Going to tell you why here in just a couple of minutes. Also, later in today's show, make sure you stick around because I'm going to tell you, there's only 3 quarterbacks that I think could actually be the Steelers starting quarterback week 1 of the 2024 season. I'm going to let you know what those 3 options are as well as what I would do if I were Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin heading into next season at the quarterback position. And then, of course, we got the live mailbag coming up here in probably about 20 minutes or so. So make sure you use hashtag Steelers in the live chat, along with your question, your idea, your comment, whatever the case may be. Or you could super chat, skip the line, get your comment, get your idea, get your comment all the way at the top of today's mailbag and guarantee your spot on today's show. All right, so we're going to get into this here. J.J. Watt, what I think of that rumor. I'm going to talk about why Mason Rudolph is better than Joe Flacco. And also, could Sunday be Cam Heyward's last game in the National Football League? We're going to be talking about all that right now, coming up right here on Steelers Talk Live. With TJ Watt out for this week's wildcard matchup against the Buffalo Bills, could his brother JJ be signed to step in his place and take over for his brother for this weekend's football game? Well, I mean, JJ's joking about it. I'm not too sure if it's actually going to happen, but I'm going to let you know what he said and what I think about it here in just a second right here on Steelers Talk. And then also, I'm going to tell you why Mason Rudolph is better than the comeback player of the year favorite right now, Joe Flacco, the Cleveland Browns quarterback. I think the numbers clearly show that Mason Rudolph has been the superior passer to this point in the season, and we're going to be breaking that down here in just a couple of minutes. And then also, could Sunday be Cam Heyward's last game in the black and gold and in the National Football League? Make sure you stick around to the end of today's video to see what Cam had to say last week about potentially retiring. And also, make sure you guys click that subscribe button here before we get into today's news and rumors, because we're going to have you guys covered with extensive offseason coverage for your Pittsburgh Steelers. Every time something breaking news happens, when they hire their new offensive coordinator, if they trade for Justin Fields, whatever the case may be, we're going to have you guys covered with breaking news coverage as well as in-depth free agency and draft coverage. Going to be going into my full scouting reports on the top draft prospects in this year's NFL draft. And I'm going to let you know which players the Steelers should be targeting in free agency. We also have live shows every single week right here on the channel. And oh yeah, it's all 100% free. So do me a favor right now, click that subscribe button right now. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about J.J. Watt. And once again, the Golden Goose here at Steelers Talk is back in the news here because he posted a picture on his Twitter of himself in a Steelers number 90 jersey on Tuesday with the caption, "Do you think anybody would notice?" Now, this is definitely a funny joke by Mr. Watt there, but, and it's actually a really good edit as well. And honestly, he looks damn good in black and gold. So, JJ, maybe think about it a little bit here. But, guys, I think this is just a joke. I really don't think anybody should seriously be getting their hopes up that J.J. Watt, after sitting out this entire season to this point, is all of a sudden going to sign a contract for the playoffs and be ready to go and be in the proper condition to step in for a guy like T.J. Watt, his brother, that probably should win Defensive Player of the Year this year. But the man that is going to be tasked with taking over for TJ this week, Nick Herbig, the rookie out of Wisconsin. I have a lot of faith in this guy, man. I really do, all right? Not only has he really proven himself all season long, but he's actually gone up against this Buffalo Bills offensive line before, back in the preseason, if you'll remember, and he absolutely dominated against their starting offensive line. So I think that Nick Herbig, although he's not TJ Watt, right, he's not a Defensive Player of the Year candidate type of player, at least not right now, I do think that he's a very good player, and when you combine that with the talents of Alex Highsmith, I think the Steelers are going to be just fine defensively this week, and I think Nick Herbig is going to have a real coming out party here in Wild Card Weekend. Now, let me know down there in the comment section what you think of Nick Herbig stepping in for TJ Watt this week. Will he record a sack on Josh Allen this week? Type yes or type no for today's pinned comment. At some point during this video, YouTube is going to send an ad break your way. When that happens, make sure you get down to the comment section, find that pinned comment. It's right there at the top of the comment section, and answer today's pinned question with a yes or no. So now let's discuss Mason Rudolph, and this is a discussion that is really going to boil the blood of Cleveland Steamer fans across the country. Yes, their precious, sweet prince, Joe Flacco, has not been as good as Mason Rudolph this season. And by the way, I can prove it with numbers right now. So let's take a look at the 2023 stat comparison between these two quarterbacks. Mason Rudolph has technically played in 4 games, started 3 of them. Joe Flacco has played in 5, has started 5. So keep that in mind as you look at these numbers. Mason Rudolph's completion percentage is nearly 15 points higher than Joe Flacco's. All right, he's averaging almost 2 more yards per attempt than Flacco. All right, his quarterback rating and QBR, both way higher than Flacco's. In fact, Rudolph's is the highest in the National Football League in terms of quarterback rating among passers with at least 50 passes, all right? So Rudolph is definitely outperforming Joe Flacco, and in less games, all right, in 3 starts for Rudolph versus 5 starts for Flacco, Mason Rudolph is worth more points above replacement than Joe Flacco at this point. I think a big reason for this and the discrepancy in numbers and in these ratings is because Joe Flacco turns the ball over a ton. I don't know why this isn't being injected into the current national media narrative, because this guy's about to win Comeback Player of the Year despite having the highest interception percentage in the National Football League this season. He is 34th out of 34 passers in the league this year in interception percentage at 3.8. And yes, I know he's thrown 13 touchdowns. Yes, I know the Browns are undefeated when he is the quarterback. But that's more on the defense dominating and the run game actually playing pretty darn well with Jerome Ford leading the way than Joe Flacco just absolutely lighting everybody up. Yes, he's had some big highlight plays that have injected into the minds of NFL fans across the world. But Mason Rudolph, to this point, has played better than Joe Flacco. Not only does he have the better quarterback rating, QBR, points above replacement, 15 points higher completion percentage, he hasn't thrown an interception, and that's really the differentiator here between Rudolph's game and Joe Flacco. Flacco is reckless with the football, overly aggressive, throwing interceptions. Mason Rudolph knows when to take calculated risks, which has led to big-time success for the Steelers, 3 straight wins, and a playoff berth. I don't think there's any discussion. The facts bear it out. Mason Rudolph, at least to this point, has been the better quarterback than Joe Flacco in 2023. Now, coming up here, I'm going to be talking about Cam Heyward. Captain Cam, could Sunday be his final game in the black and gold? I'll answer that question, what he said about retirement earlier this season. But before I get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time. And Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. I am somebody that loves to get last-minute tickets. And guys, I'm telling you right now, Game Time is the only ticketing app that you need on your phone because they have the lowest price guarantee, so you don't have to search around all these different ticketing apps looking for the best price. On Game Time, it's guaranteed. And then also they have flash deals right before the event starts, so you get even lower prices on the events once you get your tickets last minute. So it's definitely perfect for people like me that likes to go to MLB baseball games and get tickets 2 hours before the event, right? So something like that, it's going to be perfect for you. It's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. You can buy your tickets in a matter of seconds, and with 2 taps on your phone, tickets are also sent directly to your phone instead of your email, which is very, very convenient feature that I loved using. In other ticketing apps, you have to go to your email. It's not as convenient. Really like that feature from Game Time as well. You can snag your tickets without the stress with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code SteelersChat. That's one word, all caps. It's right down there in the bottom right of your screen for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code SteelersChat, one word, all caps, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Someone asked earlier this season about potentially retiring. I think he was asked this after the Week 17 game against the Seattle Seahawks. What he had to say to that is, I have to see how my body feels. It's been a rough season. So it's definitely been a rough season for Cam. Of course, he missed those 4 games with that groin injury that he suffered in Week 1 against the 49ers. And his Pro Football Focus grade hasn't been as high as it has been throughout his career. Like, he's 28th right now, the 71.9 Pro Football Focus rating. He's been really good against the run. You know, he's still a really good player, but he's not quite as dominant as he was earlier in his career. I mean, you just look at the PFF grades throughout the last 5 seasons here. He's been a top 5 defensive tackle in football over the last half decade, and now here in 2023, he's gone from being like a top 5 guy to more of like a top 30 guy, which still isn't bad, right? He's not a bad player by any stretch of the imagination, but you can definitely see that the age is starting to catch up on Captain Cam. Maybe the injuries and all these different things are having an effect on his play this year, but it definitely seems like he's taken a step back this year. And it's definitely a possibility that he ends up walking away from the game of football to kind of leave before he really starts to decline and really affect this team moving forward. Now, of course, if he retires, the cap hit and the cap situation will definitely become pretty interesting for the Pittsburgh Steelers because Cam's contract is pretty large, so that could be some relief if he ends up retiring. But personally, man, I think that the leadership that he brings to this locker room, the run defense that he brings to that defensive line, the added pass rush as well is something that's just completely invaluable to this football team. And as long as Captain Cam wants to play with the black and gold, I think he should absolutely have a spot on this football team. Now, before I go, I do want to talk a little bit about the Steelers secondary here and what it's going to look like this weekend against the Buffalo Bills, because they're going to be getting 2 of their starting safeties back this week in Minkah Fitzpatrick and Damontae Kazee. Minkah practiced fully on Wednesday. He's going to be good to go back at free safety. He's a Pro Bowler this year. And then Damontae Kazee, somebody that got suspended for the final 3 games after laying a nasty hit on Michael Pittman Jr. He's had multiple suspensions this year. The appeal did say that he could play in the postseason, so he will be back this week at strong safety. But I also think that Eric Rowe, who has really come on, he had that big forced fumble last week against the Ravens to kind of put the game on ice. I think KZ and Rowe are going to be rotating with Minkah Fitzpatrick there at the free safety position. You also have Elijah Riley and Miles Killebrew. And then you also have Patrick Peterson that can come in and maybe shift with Minkah, do some pretty creative things, because Patrick Peterson has actually done pretty well at free safety here in Minkah's absence. But now that Fitzpatrick is back, I absolutely think that we're going to see some 3 safety packages now, because for the first time in a while, there's actually some depth here in the safety room for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I do think you're going to see kind of packages here where both Minkah Fitzpatrick, Damontae Kazee, and Eric Rowe are all on the field at the same time. That's what the Steelers loved to do last year at the end of the year, had a ton of success with it. So I would be, I think that if I were Teryl Austin and Mike Tomlin right now, and you're getting these 2 guys back and they're fresh, I would say, hey man, let's get these guys going. Let's have them move around. Let's do some exotic stuff that Buffalo hasn't seen on our defensive film so far this year. And try to confuse Josh Allen, who is a really good mental processor in his own right. Then you go over to the cornerback room here. I do think Patrick Peterson is going to be making the move back over to outside corner after filling in for Minkah at free safety these past couple of weeks. I think that's the right move. I don't really trust Levi Wallace in a starting capacity against Gabe Davis, whoever they have at number 2 wide receiver. Joey Porter Jr., of course, is going to be going up against Stephon Diggs, a top 10 route runner in the National Football League. Can't wait for that matchup. But, of course, you've got Chandon Sullivan at the nickel as well. So, like I said, expect to see Pat Pete back on the outside this week. And now that doesn't mean they can't use him in some creative ways. Maybe they do some crazy shifts with their zone coverages. Maybe they have him at a couple of reps there at safety. Who knows what their plan is for Pat Pete this weekend, but that's definitely an intriguing thing that's going to be hard for Buffalo to prepare for. I also trust Patrick Peterson in coverage a hell of a lot more than I trust Levi, so I think that overall this Steelers secondary is looking the best it has in weeks at this point. Now you tell me, let me know down there in the comments section, which position should Patrick Peterson play, not this weekend, but next year? Do you think he should make the full-time switch to safety and play alongside Minkah Fitzpatrick, kind of filling that role there? Or do you want him to stay at cornerback on the other side of Joey Porter Jr.? Let me know down there in the comment section. S for safety, CB for cornerback. All right, so that'll be at the end of today's show. Guys, really do appreciate all of your support. My name is Jack Sperry. I'm the host of Steelers Talk here at Chat Sports. And if you want more Steelers content from me on social media, you can find me on Twitter/X at Jack_Sperry. I just put out my official NFL awards picks for this year. I'm going to be doing my official picks for the playoffs coming up here in just a couple of days. And of course, as the NFL draft gets closer, I'm going to be doing a bunch of film analysis on my Twitter. So if you love film analysis, you want to learn more about football, you want to learn more about the Steelers, do me a favor, check me out at Jack_Sperry. And if you do so, I'll give you a shout out on the next Steelers Talk episode. All right. So very fun segment to put together there, because you got J.J. Watt, the Golden Goose, and then you've got Mason Rudolph, better than the Cleveland Steamers' Sweet Prince, and then we've got safety talk and Cam Heyward. That was a fun segment.
We talk about another Sweet Prince later in the show.
Another Sweet Prince.
Yes.
Who are you talking about?
You'll have to wait and find out on our third segment.
Okay. So, Coop, what do you think Patrick Peterson should play next year?
Honestly, I think he should play safety. I think that's where he's looked the best this year, and I think if the Steelers are able to either sign another cornerback in free agency or draft someone they can develop into a starter at corner, I think that's the best route. You also have the likes of Darius Rush, Corey Trice Jr., who could play that role as well, so I think he'd be better served at safety next season.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he's gotten a little bit slower, and speed is a little bit more of an element for corners than it is for safeties. Now,
yes.
Obviously, you do need to be relatively fast as a safety, but I think that you can get by being a little bit slower being a safety than being an outside corner, where if pretty much at this point, if Patrick Peterson gets beat one-on-one,
it's Jover.
He doesn't have the recovery speed to get back and make a play.
No doubt.
Joey Porter Jr. definitely does at this point, but I think with Patrick Peterson being older, he's gotten slower. Let's just say what it is. He's still a very instinctual player, and I think that's why he's played so well at safety,
sure.
Because he's really good at reading the quarterback's eyes, doing all these different things. You go ahead.
And I think he could extend his career by playing safety. Like, I think he could
Absolutely.
He could play 5 more good years at safety, I think.
Yeah, at least 3 more good,
at
good
least
years.
3, yeah.
And, if you have Minkah Fitzpatrick and Patrick Peterson, 2 guys that are big enough to play in the box, but also fast enough and instinctual enough to play as a center field player, as a single high safety, I think you can do some nice disguise stuff with those guys. Start one guy up out high, somebody down in the box, then you switch them before the snap, kind of confuse the quarterback. All these different things that you could do, because they could both play either spot, right? They could play in the slot. They could play at strong safety in the box. They could play as a free safety. They could be a half field safety, right? They have very much versatility at that position. I think at this point, Patrick Peterson has even said it himself that he feels very comfortable playing safety. And if you move him over there, I think that's one less need that you have to address this offseason.
For sure.
And I think I'm pretty sure DeMonte KZ is under contract for another year, so he could even be a part of the rotation next year as well. So I think moving Patrick back over, or not back, just moving him to safety full-time next year as a starter, and then you maybe draft a cornerback next year, another young corner that could play in press man coverage.
They do have KZ under contract next year.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I think Neal is a free agent though, if I'm not mistaken.
I will look.
Coop will check on Keanu Neal's status.
Get some shout-outs in the chat.
Sure.
Let's see what they think.
All right, so we got Little Slush. He says, I don't want KZ starting at safety next year. Me neither. If you're not going to move Pat Pete over to safety, you got to go get somebody in free agency or via the draft to start next year.
Neal is under contract next year, by the way.
So Neal is under contract. So that's interesting.
$2.5 million.
But honestly, like the Steelers like to have rotations at these positions anyway.
Yeah.
So like if you have Minka, Patrick, DeMonte as your like true starters, and then you have Keanu, who's kind of like a linebacker safety hybrid, and then DeMonte, kind of a high energy, hard hitting player. Like I think that's a really good rotation of safeties, right?
But then what do you do with Trenton Thompson?
Trenton Thompson, I believe he's a free agent.
Yeah, he is.
You just let him
go.
You just let him go. I love Trenton. I hope he gets some luck by getting a starting job somewhere. I think he's deserved it and earned it this year. But let me know down there in the comments section what you guys think. And then also get your questions down there in the live chat. Hashtag Steelers or Super Chat along with your questions, along with your ideas, with your mock drafts, whatever the case may be. If you want us to get your voice heard on the show today,
need some more questions.
Hashtag Steelers or Super Chat. We got 170 people watching.
I can't believe Nick Saban retired. That's crazy.
Yeah, Nick Saban retiring is nuts. Dominic Schrader isn't too happy about my idea of letting Trenton Thompson go.
I like Trenton Thompson.
I love Trenton Thompson,
but also he might get paid as a starting safety.
It's possible for sure. I think he'll be relatively affordable, but if you have Keanu Neal, unless you're going to cut DeMonte or Keanu, which I'm open to, by the way, it's getting to be kind of crowded in that safety room next year if you're moving Patrick over to safety full time. So somebody's got to go, right? Either you cut Keanu or you cut DeMonte or you let Trenton Thompson walk. We can kind of talk about the possibilities there. I think it's going to probably depend on how much Trenton costs, because if you move Patrick Peterson over to safety, he's going to be a starting safety, right? The two starting safeties are going to be Minka and Patrick, and then anybody behind them on the depth chart is going to be a rotational piece. So will Trenton Thompson even want to come back if he's just going to be a rotational piece next year in the safety room? I'm just not sure. And DeMonte KZ, I will say this. If I had the choice right now, if Trenton Thompson was okay with taking a rotational role in this defense next year, Coop, I would cut DeMonte KZ. He's been really slow this
Thompson's
year.
Better than KZ?
I do.
Yeah.
KZ is somebody that's, obviously he's been suspended once this year. He's been fined multiple times. Suspended twice this year for hard hits that are illegal.
Yep.
Helmet-to-helmet hits, lowering his head. It's not smart. And then also he's gotten a lot slower this year than he was even last year. So I think the age thing is starting to catch up to him. He doesn't have the same wheels. So I think best case scenario, you have Minka Fitzpatrick and Patrick Peterson as your starting safeties next year. You rotate Trenton Thompson in regularly. Do that 3 safety package that Mike Tomlin likes to do all the time with those 3 safeties. And then you also have Keanu Neal as kind of like a good backup option. Maybe you bring him in on true running downs because he's a bigger safety. I think I like that a lot more. And, DeMonte KZ, I think, is completely cooked at this point. So that's something that I would probably want to happen next year. He might be a cut candidate for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Still need some more questions. Hashtag Steelers or Super Chat to get your questions on today's mailbag.
I think we've got enough here that we can dabble.
All right, we can dabble a little bit.
Fanatics, right, on this one?
Brian Hagen. All right, Gold Club
number.
Oh,
you got it right!
Brian Hagen. I promise you, if you're in Gold Club, I'm never going to get your name wrong again. All
Brian,
right?
I had to give Sperry $5 because I bet him he couldn't say your name right.
Brian, you asked a question, but you didn't use hashtag Steelers.
Yes, use hashtag Steelers with that question, Brian.
You got to use hashtag Steelers along with your question in order to get on the show.
Okay.
All right, we ready to get things going here, Coop?
Yep, as soon as I find the L3.
All right, guys, I'm just going to do a little bit of a plug here. Need to get to 100 likes today. We promised our bosses we'd get to 100 likes today. Right now we're at 83. We got 160 people watching. So if all of you guys just took 1 second, that half second to click that thumbs up icon, Help us get to 100 likes. I'll do a shot. All right? I'll do a shot if we get to 100 likes here, okay? So we need 15 more likes, and I'll take a shot, okay? So with that being said, Coop, let's get into this mailbag right now. And coming up right now, Steelers Talk Mailbag coming at you. Welcome into the Steelers Talk Mailbag this week. Wild card week here. I think that there's going to be some very interesting and spicy questions on this week's Mailbag Q&A. So let's get right into it here. But first, do me a favor right now. Click that subscribe button to join the most interactive Steelers community right here on YouTube. 100% free. We do these mailbags every single week so that you guys can have your voice heard right here on the channel. We also have multiple live shows every single week so you guys can interact with us live here on the channel. So if you want to join a community of just about 45,000 true Steelers fans that are passionate about the black and gold and have conversations with them every single week to expand your Steelers knowledge, this is going to be the place for you. So click that subscribe button right now. So let's start with Steelers Dad, who put in a $10 super chat. He says, Steelers win against the Bills, I'm guessing, because we have the better run game. Their best runner is Josh Allen. So the reason why I think Steelers Dad is saying this is because he's predicting that this game, because it's going to be super cold, because it's going to have winds in Buffalo at like 25, 30 miles per hour, it's going to be really hard to throw and kick the football on Sunday. So it's really going to come down to which team runs the football more effectively on Sunday afternoon. And the Steelers' run game has been super hot lately, right? Najee Harris, 2 straight 100-yard performances. Jaylen Warren has been great all season long. I think if this game comes down to which team has the better run game, then I don't think it's a competition here. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers win on Sunday and advance to the divisional round. Then we got one here from William Pastor here. Says, with TJ Watt out, do you think our chances of winning our chances of winning are slim? So I don't think. So here's what I'll say about TJ Watt, right? Steelers are 1-10 all time without him on the field when he's been out injured. All right, that is a terrible record. And the last time the Steelers played the Bills without TJ Watt was last season, where they lost, I believe it was 38-3 was the final score in Buffalo. So those two facts right there don't make it look good. However, because of the conditions at Highmark Stadium this Sunday, like I said, cold, windy, maybe even snowy, it's going to be tough to kick and throw the football, and it could come down to which team runs the football more effectively. I think Nick Herbig is going to be able to go in there and really play well for TJ Watt. I have the utmost respect and faith in Nick Herbig as a football player. That strip sack that he had against Seattle just a couple of weeks ago was absolutely phenomenal, taking on a double team with an incredible finesse move to get to the quarterback in under 4 seconds. This guy is a tactician. This guy is a professional edge rusher. And although he's not TJ Watt, I do think he's going to do a good job on Sunday. And the rest of the NFL world is going to know Nick Herbig's name by this time next week. Then we got one from Epic Steeler here. He says, after a shaky performance on Monday, do you think the Steelers could potentially land Michael Penix Jr. in the draft? So Michael Penix Jr., man, he went from like, oh my gosh, this guy should be considered as the number 2 quarterback in the NFL draft after that game against Texas, to, oh my gosh, is he even a first-round draft pick after that performance against the Michigan Wolverines? He was missing open receivers. The accuracy that he's really known for just wasn't really there. And the question is, how much is that going to affect his draft stock overall? And the answer to that is it might affect it a little bit, but I don't think it's going to affect it all that much, because he really put a bunch of good tape on film earlier that season. He still has incredible arm talent, and I think he was playing through some injuries in that Michigan game, unfortunately for him and the Huskies. But I do think Michael Penix Jr. is somebody that's probably going to go in the top 10. Might sneak out just a little bit, but I do see him as a first-round draft prospect. I do think the Steelers, if they want to draft him, will have to trade up in the first round in order to get him. And at this point, I think they'd rather go with Kenny Pickett than trade future draft assets to trade up for a guy like Michael Penix Jr. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. If you could choose between these 4 quarterbacks right here, which one are you rolling with in 2024? Type MR for Mason Rudolph, type MP for Michael Penix Jr., JF for Justin Fields, or type KP if you want Kenny Pickett. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So at some point during this video, YouTube will throw you an ad break. When that happens, go to the top of the comment section and find that pinned comment and answer today's question. All right, so the next one here, another one from Steelers Dad, says, if Rudy takes us to at least the AFC Championship, should we consider making him QB1 next year? Absolutely yes. All right, I do think this. Because if you make it to the AFC Championship, that means that you are beating not just the number 2 seed, but also the number 1 seed, the top 2 seeds in the AFC this year on the road in consecutive weeks. And if this kid is able to pull that off, that would mean 5 straight wins in a row. I'm guessing the quarterback rating would still be incredibly high, given the fact that you have to put up points to beat these football teams. So, yes, I think if you get to the AFC Championship, I think Mason Rudolph, you have to at least consider keeping him on as the starting quarterback for 2024, which is going to be easier said than done because the more he wins, the higher his contract is going to be because he's a free agent next offseason. Then we got one from Kenny Pickettsburg here, and he says, Isaac Sealo hasn't given up a single sack yet this season. Should we consider extending him this offseason? Now, I'm having a hard time thinking of exactly what the terms of his contract are. So he's still got 2 years left on his deal. So I'm not sure if now is the time to extend him. I mean, maybe it is. If you need to add a little bit of cap space or whatever, you can restructure him. But yes, I want Isaac Sealo to be a Steeler for as long as he's still productive. So he's been really good this year. A little bit of a slow start, actually. But then he really came into his own about a quarter way through the season. He's been one of the best offensive guards in the National Football League since then. James Daniels has really come on in the second half of the year as well. I think the guard situation is really good here in Pittsburgh. I think Broderick Jones is going to be really good in the future as well, especially as a run blocker. So really, they've got some pretty decent pieces here on the offensive line when you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. And when was the last time we could really say that? I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, we've got some good pieces here. You get another tackle, and you get a guy to replace Mason Cole. This could be a pretty darn good offensive line heading into 2024. Now, before we get into the rest of this week's questions, I want to tell you about our friends at Fanatics, and they have Joey Porter Jr. jerseys for sale on their website. If you guys ever watch our watch parties and I'm wearing jerseys on here, those are Fanatics jerseys. They're super high quality. Really, really good stuff. So you can go check it out right now, chatsports.com/Joey Porter Jr. Of course, JPJ is going to be going up against Stephon Diggs in his first ever playoff game. In my opinion, he should probably be Defensive Rookie of the Year. And if you agree with me, I think that this is going to be one hell of an investment here if you're looking for a jersey that's going to last you a decade plus. So go ahead right now, chatsports.com/Joey Porter Jr. to get your next Steelers jersey in your closet today. Then we got one from Dominic here. He says, Jack, do you think the Steelers should go after Nate Wiggins or Mims, offensive line from Georgia, for their first pick if they are not there? If they're not there at their pick, who should they pick? Okay. So if I had to choose between the two, I'm probably taking, without knowing anything when it comes to free agency or anything like that, I'd probably go Nate Wiggins. All right. I like Amarius Mims. I really do. But I think he's very similar to Broderick Jones, where like they're more like, I believe, run blockers than true pass blockers. I want somebody that's maybe more attuned to pass blocking than Mims. If I'm looking for an offensive lineman, maybe someone like a Jordan Morgan out of the Arizona Wildcats would be a pretty decent option for me. But man, Nate Wiggins, maybe a little bit slender. You know, he's going to get bullied around a little bit in the run game if he doesn't put on some meat. I mean, look who's talking, I know. But we got Nate Wiggins. Right, he's got incredible recovery speed. He's got great coverage ability. Really like Nate Wiggins as a prospect. That's probably who I'd go with. Then we got one from Troy44. He says, have you gotten into any film on Iowa cornerback Cooper Dejon? I hear he could be a good fit for us. Now, I think Cooper Dejon could be, out of Iowa, could be a great fit for anybody, right? In my opinion, Brian Branch of the Detroit Lions is right up there in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Year with guys like Devin Witherspoon and Joey Porter Jr., and Cooper Dejon, in my opinion, is the Brian Branch of this year's draft class. This is a guy that can play outside corner, nickel corner. He can even play safety for you if you really need to. And this is somebody that's an extremely hard worker. He did have a major injury this year, though, so I think the medicals will be big for him. But I really do think this guy is going to be something special in the league, and it'd be really nice if he went from the purple or from the black and gold there in Iowa to the black and gold right here in Pittsburgh, PA. Then we got one here from Brian Hagen. Brian Hagen. Brian Hagen. And he says, do we get Kool-Aid in the draft? I can't believe I said Hagen again. I honestly, I cannot believe it. Apologies to Brian. I've said his name wrong probably about 200 times. F. Sperry in the comment section. But to answer your question, Brian Hagen, Kool-Aid I would absolutely love. Kool-Aid McKinstry as a Pittsburgh Steeler. I mean, not only is it one of the coolest names, no pun intended, in the National Football League immediately when he gets drafted, but I also think he's got the skill set that we're looking for. Long arms, physical, good run defender. He's got great recovery speed, played in the SEC against NFL competition, right? So I think that Kool-Aid McKinstry, somebody I've definitely got my eye on, and by the end of this process, he might be my number one cornerback prospect to look for and target for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. All right, so now before we get to the rest of today's questions, which NFL draft prospect do you have your eye on? Okay, so I have my eye on guys like Cooper Dejon, guys like Nate Wiggins, guys like Kool-Aid McKinstry. What other guys are you keeping your eye on here as we get to the early process here of the NFL draft season? Then we got one here from Christian Andujar. And he says, I think the Steelers can beat the Bills. We can beat the Ravens because Lamar's 2-4 against the Steelers. Lamar absolutely stinks against the Steelers. And this is what we've been saying, Producer Coop. We said it on our live show after the Steelers clinched the playoff spot. Don't let the Steelers win this week, guys, because guess what? If they're playing in Baltimore on the road, the confidence is going to be so high with this football team. And I actually think they go into Baltimore against the number one team, the favorite to win the Super Bowl this year, and beat them on their home turf in their first playoff game this year for the upset of the season in the National Football League. So I know there's a bunch of Ravens fans out there crying that the Steelers swept them this year and that, oh, we only played their backups in the second one. But guess what? You should have beaten us in week 5, all right, when your precious MVP threw for 58% passing and then also had a big interception in the red zone to seal it. So I don't want to hear any crying from Ravens fans. We swept you guys fair and square, and if we see you guys for a third time at M&T Bank Stadium next week, watch out because the Steelers are getting the dub. Then we got one from Ben's Randomness here. He says, if Mike Tomlin leaves or if we fire him this offseason, which won't happen, by the way, could we potentially grab former Titans head coach and former Steeler Mike Vrabel? I would be fine with Vrabel if Tomlin decided to leave. Of course, Adam Schefter reported this week that Tomlin might be considering leaving the Steelers. I really don't know why, because I think this team and this roster is a quarterback and an offensive coordinator that's worth his salt away from really competing for titles again. So I don't think Tomlin is going anywhere. It doesn't really seem like something he would do. But if he does go down that route and Mike Vrabel wants to come to Pittsburgh, I think that Vrabel is exactly the type of guy with the exact amount of charisma that you need to be able to fill the shoes of somebody like Mike Tomlin, who of course has completely ruled this city for the last decade and a half plus. Then we got one from Chive. It says, what are your thoughts on the Steelers bringing back punter Brad Wing? Could he replace Presley Harvin III this weekend? We were actually talking about this earlier, Coop, that they're bringing back Brad Wing, who of course had the come-in relief of Presley Harvin earlier this season when he was injured. He's back on the practice squad. So what does this mean? Does this mean that Wing might be coming in to replace Presley Harvin because he hasn't had a good season? I don't know. All right, I don't know the answer to this question just yet. Maybe by the time this video comes out, we'll have an answer to this. We're filming this on Wednesday, by the way, on the live show. But all I'm going to say right now is if you're Presley Harvin III, you better watch your freaking back because Brad Wing is coming. So let me know down there in the comment section who should be the starting punter for the black and gold here for the wild card weekend against the Bills. Type PH for Presley Harvin III or BW for Brad Wing. That'll be it for this week's Mailbag Q&A. Thank you guys so much for submitting your questions, watching until the end of the video. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now to join the most interactive Steelers YouTube community. And of course, on Sunday, we're going to be having our live watch party starting at 12 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you join us and watch the Steelers beat the Buffalo Bills on Sunday.
Everyone's saying Brad Wing, and I kind of agree.
I mean, we hate Presley Harvin III.
He stinks.
He's so bad.
Also, Brian says you have to give me the $5 back.
No, I don't.
Brian said it in the chat.
No, the terms of the deal were very clear. The next live show,
oh my God.
If I got it wrong, I would owe you $5. If I got it right, you would owe me $5. That next show, I got it right. So I'm keeping the 5.
Do you hear this, Brian?
I'm keeping the 5, Brian. You guys can cry about it if you want. You guys can put F Sperry as much as you want in the chat. But I won that bet. Fair and square. All right.
I'm dead.
I apologize for
Brian says give him the 5.
I apologize for getting your name wrong again, Brian. I'm so sorry. It's just like
turn off the lights.
Turn off the lights. Turn off the lights. Goodness gracious. All right.
Oh my goodness.
So Coop, which NFL draft prospect do you have your eye on for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I kind of been talked into Nate Wiggins. The more I've looked at him, I think he would fit exactly what the Steelers need. It would allow Peterson to move to safety. You could slot Wiggins right in opposite JPJ, and I think he would be really good for the Steelers.
Yeah, I really like Nate Wiggins' game. He's a great cover corner, man. It kind of reminds me.
Oh, is this true? Is Cassie spreading rumors?
What is Cassie saying?
Jack said.
No, she is lying. She is lying to me. She's lying to you. I will not drink tequila, whether it's fake, real, or the like.
Brian says, do it every time. Do I get 5 every time for every time you get my name wrong? Brian, if that was the case, you would be a very rich man.
Yeah, probably, man. Probably. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe we'd have to super chat you. All right. So coming up here, we're gonna be exploring the only 3 options that I think are realistic possibilities for the Pittsburgh Steelers at the quarterback position next year. I only see 3 quarterbacks that could potentially be the starting quarterback week 1 for this team. I'm going to let you know which 3 quarterbacks that is here in just a second. But in case you guys didn't see it before, $5 super chats. We'll do Rudolph the third string QB songs, $10 shots. By the way, I said if we got to 100 likes, I'd take a shot. We got there.
Oh, Brian.
So let me take this shot real quick.
Brian, I've told him countless times.
Yes, he has. And for some reason, it's just ingrained.
It doesn't register.
It just doesn't register in my brain. Anyway.
I can't wait for Sunday.
By the way, Brian, if you send in a $20 super chat, Coop can slap me in the face with a tortilla. All right? So if somebody out there wants to give the ultimate F Sperry, $20 super chat, Coop will slap me in the face with a tortilla. All right? So there you go. Then also, $100 total gets you into Steelers Talk Gold Club for life. So if you're not a part of Gold Club, you want a shout out on every show, $100 total on today's show will get that done for you guys. So now,
man, I'm dying. That's hilarious.
If somebody sends in a 20, that Coop is gonna be like, all right, you took my $5.
Brian, I gave him a 5. He isn't giving it back. That's BS.
No, it's not BS because the terms of the deal were very clear.
You're speaking like a politician right now.
Good, because actually, I'm speaking like a lawyer, and you're getting your ass lawyered to you right now.
What a joke.
The terms of the deal is the next show. This isn't the next show.
The integrity of Steelers Talk is being compromised.
Goodness gracious. All right, so if someone wants me to get slapped, you can go ahead and send it to 20. All right?
Brian says give it back. I love it.
Oh, man, I love hanging out with you guys every week. It's definitely the highlight of my week. All right, so let's get into this final segment right now. The only 3 quarterbacks that could be the Steelers' starting QB week 1 of the 2024 season. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and today I'm going to tell you the only 3 quarterbacks in the National Football League that I can see being the week 1 starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers at the start of next season. But before I reveal all 3 of these options for the black and gold, do me a favor right now, get in the comments section and answer this question and predict it. Who will be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 1 of next season? Predict it for me down there in the comments section and let me know who you think will be the black and gold signal caller at the start of the 2024 season. So the first option here, and I do think this is the most likely option, whether you like it or not, I think the number 1 option here is Kenny Pickett. Because you take this kid in the first round a couple years back. He had Matt Canada as his offensive coordinator for all that time. And, I just feel like a loyal organization like the Pittsburgh Steelers that hung on to Matt Canada for 1 year too long is going to want to give Kenny Pickett at least 1 more year to try and prove himself. This is what Ian Rappaport of NFL Network had to say about Kenny Pickett's future with the black and gold. My understanding is the organization does still believe in Kenny Pickett and does not want to move on from him after the season. Still a ton of confidence that he can be a franchise starter. Now, the case for Pickett it does have some points that I understand, right? You still have 3 more years of contract control under Pickett's contract, all right? Not only 2 more for sure seasons, but also next in the 2025 offseason, you can pick up that 5th-year option, and in total you could have 3 more years of affordable quarterback play. And if Pickett develops, that could be a real asset to this football team, being able to hang on to the veterans that they currently have on this roster. Also, he clearly has the support of the people in the locker room. Guys like him. He is a good leader. He works hard. He's a selfless kind of guy, and he's somebody that's all about the team. So he's definitely somebody that I think that his teammates would be supportive of bringing back next season. And also, I think that sometimes it can take more than 2 years for a quarterback to really come into their own in the National Football League. All right, we've seen this time and time again in the National Football League with a number of examples. All right, Josh Allen took 3 years to become an MVP candidate there in Buffalo. All right, Tua Tagovailoa with the Dolphins also took 3 years. Remember, going into that 3rd year there, Mike McDaniel's first year in 2022, people were going into that season saying Tua Tagovailoa was already a bust, just like they're saying about Kenny Pickett right now. Same thing goes for Jalen Hurts. I mean, just going back to last year, people were saying if he doesn't perform in 2022, his ass was going to be grass. Guess what? He was an MVP candidate, got his team to the Super Bowl. Now he's a bona fide franchise quarterback. And then Jordan Love had to sit 3 years behind Aaron Rodgers, finally got his shot this year, and now it seems like he is the guy there in Green Bay. So the argument that after just 2 seasons you can't really fully evaluate Kenny Pickett is definitely a valid one. But the issue with that argument is this, all right, to play devil's advocate. I think that those other quarterbacks on that list, Josh Allen, guys like Tua Tagovailoa, they showed high-end traits in those years prior of that I just don't think Kenny Pickett possesses, right? Kenny Pickett doesn't have that rocket arm that Josh Allen has, or the rushing ability for that matter. I don't think Kenny Pickett has the mental processing that Tua Tagovailoa has. Right? I don't think he has the accuracy on the deep ball that Jalen Hurts has. So, he doesn't have these high-end traits that these guys have. And I definitely think when you mix that with some really bad film over these last 2 years, it's just not looking very good for Kenny Pickett's prospects to develop going into year 3, no matter who the offensive coordinator is. So just over his career so far, in 25 games played, 62.6 completion percentage, it's okay, I guess, under 200 yards per game, not really good at all. Touchdowns to interceptions, exactly the same. That is not what you want to see. He's been one of the worst red zone quarterbacks in the National Football League. That's a very, very bad sign because the windows are tighter and all these different things, and that's really where quarterbacks make their money, and Kenny Pickett is the worst quarterback in the league in that area. The quarterback rating all the way down at 78.8, which is not good at all. And listen, I think that these numbers can be explained with some things that I see on film that are really tough to coach out of a player. So let's start with the pocket presence. We've all seen Kenny Pickett in a relatively clean pocket spin out of it like a million times, right? He loves that spin move out to his left, and it gets him in trouble all the time, right? So this is somebody in Kenny Pickett that even going back to college would leave clean pockets after his first 1 or 2 reads because he's not comfortable sitting in the pocket and delivering. This is one of the reasons why Mason Rudolph has been so successful in his relief, because he actually stands in the pocket and keeps his eyes down the field, whereas Pickett gets skittish and tries to make plays outside of the pocket, which is not a sustainable way to play quarterback in this league, especially with his limited skill set. Then number 2, the accuracy issues really came out this year for Kenny Pickett. It really did. You look at the accuracy numbers, both the catchable ball percentage and the on-target percentage. It's less than 32nd in the league this year among quarterbacks with at least 100 pass attempts, which is worse than backups, right? There's backups that have been more accurate than Kenny Pickett this season. This is something he definitely needs to fix, because if you don't have a rocket arm, right, if you don't have this ability like a Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen to really carry a team's run game either, you're going to have to be accurate. You're going to have to be able to pick defenses apart, and you need accuracy to be able to do that. Pickett's accuracy definitely dipped this year, especially in the red zone. That's definitely not what you want to see. Then number 3 on my list, mental processing. So this goes into a bunch of different areas here. I think he has a really hard time consistently getting to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 all the way across a progression. It was reported that he had one of the lowest Wonderlic scores in the history of the NFL Combine. And honestly, when you watch him on film, you can kind of see why, man. His downfield vision, he'll miss wide open receivers 20-plus yards down the field. That's not something that you want to see. And as long as a deep pass is, if there's a deep route that's not his first actual read, the chances of him throwing to that read is pretty much close to zero. Then, another bad thing about his game is that he doesn't really throw over the middle with efficiency. The one thing that I would say over the middle that he actually does okay is he likes to throw seam balls to, especially Pat Freiermuth. He's actually okay at that. But the in breakers to George Pickens or Deontay Johnson, lots of times he doesn't see them. And then also, when he does see them, he tends to overshoot them, overthrow them, which is just really odd to me. And that goes back to the accuracy issues. And then the final thing that I have a problem with Pickett's game at this point is that he has a really tough time anticipating open windows against zone. So obviously in zone coverage, defenders go out, they're reading the eyes of the quarterback, and there's little pockets of space in every single type of zone coverage, right? And because players are so fast on defense in the National Football League, you have to be able to identify that coverage, mental processing, and then you also have to anticipate when the wide receiver is going to be open and throw the football before they actually come open. And Pickett just isn't comfortable doing that. He beats man coverage a lot better than he does zone. And I think defenses have started to catch up to that, which is why he just hasn't really been successful as a whole this season. So I really do think that these problems that I just listed, those top 5 issues that I have with his film, go beyond just play calling. It doesn't matter who's calling the plays. Those issues are still going to be present. And unless Kenny Pickett magically changes over a year's time here, I just don't think he can get to the level of a Josh Allen or a Tua Tagovailoa or a Jordan Love or a Jalen Hurts, where they were able to come into their own 3-4 years down the line in their NFL journey. So listen, I want to believe in the kid. The guy lives and breathes Pittsburgh. He was a Pitt Panther. He's a great kid that works hard. I'm rooting for Kenny Pickett. But as an objective NFL analyst here that watches every single play of film, I just don't think that he is really got what it takes to be a legitimate, definitely star quarterback, but legitimate starter either. But I do think the Steelers, being a super loyal organization, is going to give him another shot. And I'm worried that that strategy is going to hold this team back yet another season and waste yet another year of TJ Watt, Cam Heyward, and Minkah Fitzpatrick's prime. So next up on today's show, the only QBs that can replace Kenny Pickett. I got 2 of them on my list. But before I reveal the first replacement for Kenny Pickett here, go ahead and check out our friends at Game Time right now. Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. Personally, guys, I'm somebody that likes to go to events kind of last minute. I'll be sitting here at my office here at Chat Sports, and I'll be like, you know what? I want to go to an NBA basketball game tonight, or I want to go to a concert with Cassie, something like that. I'll just bring out my phone. I'll put up my Game Time app, which is the only ticketing app on my phone, by the way. And I know that it's going to be the lowest price guarantee. And I also know they're probably going to have a flash deal with even lower prices for that event because I'm a last-minute shopper, and that's what Game Time does. It is the fastest-growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. They got a super easy-to-use interface, and you can buy tickets in a matter of seconds. Just 2 taps on your phone, and you can get your tickets sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your email to get those tickets. Snag the tickets now without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code SteelersChat, one word, all caps. It's right down there in the bottom right of your screen for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code SteelersChat, one word, all caps, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So now the second option for the Pittsburgh Steelers at the starting quarterback position next year is, of course, Mason Rudolph here. And this really would come to fruition if Mason Rudolph plays his butt off in the 2023 postseason here for the NFL season. Okay, so that's essentially what he needs to do. He needs to go into Buffalo and have a really good game in the elements, in the wind, in the cold, come out with a victory, and then probably come out in Baltimore and have another really nice performance on his resume. If he can put together 5 games of really good football winning at least 4 of them, I think the Steelers have to at least consider the possibility of bringing this guy in as their starter and having Kenny Pickett sit behind him for at least another couple of seasons, or at least one season. So right now, Mason Rudolph, really good completion percentage, 74.3, just under 200 yards per game passing. But keep in mind, Baltimore, it was pretty tough to throw because of those conditions. 3 touchdowns and no interceptions, and the highest quarterback rating out of any passer in the league over the last 3 weeks with at least 50 pass attempts. Absolutely fantastic. And you know what? Mason Rudolph is somebody that is so easy to root for, and I am rooting for Mason Rudolph because I do think at this point he is a better quarterback than Kenny Pickett. I think he's got an incredible story. I think he's somebody that actually sticks in the pocket with good downfield vision, and he's accurate enough to hit his guys down the field. It's going to be an uphill battle. He's probably going to have to beat the Bills this week. He's going to have to compete against the number 1 seed in the AFC with probably the MVP of the league on the road in order to secure himself the job. But at this point, it is still possible for him, and I'm definitely rooting for him over these next couple of weeks. Now, before I reveal the only quarterback outside of the organization right now that I think Mike Tomlin would bring in to replace Kenny Pickett next year, do me a favor, give me a follow on Twitter/X at Jack_Sperry. If you do so, I'll give you a shout out on a future episode of Steelers Talk right here on YouTube. That's where I put all my film analysis because we can't put it here on YouTube. So if you want some more film analysis, you want to learn more about football, all that different kind of stuff, you want to learn more about the Pittsburgh Steelers, do me a favor, click that follow button at Jack_Sperry for a shout out on next week's show. So the one quarterback that I think Mike Tomlin would actually replace Kenny Pickett with is Chicago Bears quarterback Justin Fields. Now, of course, the Bears have the number 1 overall pick. They got Caleb Williams in their sights, but it's certainly possible at this point that Justin Fields is still a Chicago Bear by next season. They could trade down, take Marvin Harrison Jr., and keep Justin Fields. It seems like that's what the Chicago Bears fan base wants to do. They love Justin Fields there in the Windy City. But really, man, I know for a fact that Mike Tomlin loves him some Justin Fields. He is his sweet prince. I mean, there's no other way to say it. He went to the Ohio State Pro Day back in 2021 when he knew Big Ben Roethlisberger was going to be his quarterback just to watch Justin Fields work out. All right, this guy has the mentality that Tomlin wants in his quarterback, that killer instinct that we saw when he absolutely lit up the Clemson Tigers in that semifinal game his final year at Ohio State. He also has 2 more years of cheap contract control, which is really the big thing for Mr. Fields here, is that he's affordable. There's a bunch of quarterbacks that the Steelers could maybe get in free agency or via trade, but they would be too expensive, all right? The Steelers' cap situation isn't all that great, and because Justin is still on his rookie contract, he is affordable for this football team. And then the reason why I think Tomlin might make this swing here is because I think Justin Fields has the level of talent that can immediately elevate this roster to a potential title contention type of season as early as next year. And you look at his numbers here over the last 3 seasons, both as a passer and as a rusher. Start with the passing numbers here. You can see the improvement year after year. All right, the interceptions have gone down, the completion percentage has gone up, and so have the yards. What does this mean? This means he is getting better each and every season. And sometimes there are guys like Jordan Love, like we said earlier. Sometimes there are guys like Josh Allen that take a little bit longer to develop as passers. And I do think Justin Fields will eventually get there. But what really makes him special, guys, what could really put this team over the top by next year is his rushing ability. You look at that 2022 stat line there, 160 carries for over 1,100 yards rushing as a quarterback and 8 touchdowns. He was the most valuable rusher of the football in 2022. More valuable than Christian McCaffrey, more valuable than Josh Jacobs. He was that good as a rusher last season. Now, this year's numbers dipped a little bit, but he's still super young, still has that dynamic element to him. If you get him with the right offensive mind that really takes advantage of his legs and his rushing ability, holy crap, man. This could be a grand slam home run for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And personally, I would be in favor of going and getting him. I understand the reasonings behind not getting him. There are risks involved. But listen, there's risks involved in business. There's risks involved in trying to win Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes was a big risk for the Kansas City Chiefs when they eventually traded up to draft him, right? So I do think this is the move that could put the Steelers back in the Super Bowl conversation, and I definitely think this is worth doing if you're Mike Tomlin, if you get the opportunity to do it. So why not some of these other quarterbacks that are being rumored to the Steelers? I don't think it's going to be Baker Mayfield because I think he's going back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after getting them to the playoffs this year. I don't think it's going to be Russell Wilson because at this point I would take him over Pickett, but I don't think the Steelers would take him over Pickett at this point. I think they like the contract that Pickett has right now, and I think they see Russ as a quarterback on the decline, Pickett as a guy maybe on the rise, and then I don't think they're going to go out and get a guy like Michael Penix in the draft because I think the Steelers are trying to win now, and if you try to reset with a new starting quarterback as a rookie, you're pretty much forfeiting any shot that you have at the title next season. And then also there's a bunch of guys that are being rumored to the Steelers that I'm so sick and tired of seeing these guys on Steelers Twitter being thrown around because they're too expensive. There's just no way the Steelers can afford these guys, and especially the Justin Herbert one. There is no way that new head coach that gets hired there in Los Angeles wants to trade that guy. He's got 5 years left on his contract. They just locked him up. He's a top 5 talent. No way in hell Justin Herbert becomes a Pittsburgh Steeler. So what is the most likely scenario here? So this is what I actually think will end up happening. I think they're going to keep Pickett as the starter for 2024. Will he finish the year as the starter? I probably don't think so, honestly. But then you probably got to cut Mitch Trubisky. I think everyone in Steelers Nation agrees with that. I think they're going to let Mason Rudolph walk. I don't think they're going to want to bring him back as a backup. He's going to be pretty expensive, and you don't want Rudolph to be behind Pickett's shoulder after the run he went on this year. And then I think that they sign a high-end backup in NFL free agency to kind of be a safety blanket, a plan B, just in case Kenny Pickett doesn't have a Josh Allen or a Jalen Hurts or a Tua Tagovailoa third season in the National Football League. And some of those options that the Steelers have at their disposal, Jacoby Brissett, Sam Darnold, Gardner Minshew, Jake Browning, and Ryan Tannehill are probably the top 5 names that I would consider, especially if you hire Eric Bieniemy as your next offensive coordinator, which I think will happen. Jacoby Brissett would be my number 1 target. All right, so now let me know down there in the comment section. I've laid it out why I think these 3 gentlemen right here, one of these guys is going to be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers next year. So let me know which one you think it's going to be. Type KP for Kenny Pickett, MR for Mason Rudolph, or if you want to go out and take that big swing for Justin Fields, type JF down there in the comment section. That'll be it for today's show. I know it was a bit of a longer one today, Steelers Nation. Thank you so much for bearing with me throughout this entire video. If you are a real one and you haven't clicked that subscribe button just yet, do me a favor, click that subscribe button and join our Steelers Talk family today. So that
Let's go.
Oh!
We got 2 of them.
Oh, no. I got 2 slaps.
Yes. I've been waiting all segment for this.
Marilyn Krieger with a $20 super chat. And so KJ Live Life.
Let's go.
With a $20 super chat.
All right. I'm going to go get tortillas. A third one.
Oh, my God.
Let's go, KJ. Let's go.
KJ comes in with another 20.
Let's go, KJ.
So we're going to have the trifecta coming up here in about
the trifecta trivia round. I'm dead.
Unbelievable. All right, so Coop's going to
I'll be back.
Coop's going to go get the tortillas. I guess I'm going to get slapped here a couple times here. Goodness.
This is for Brian.
This is for Brian Hagen, who I fucked up his name again today for, I mean, goodness gracious, Sperry, figure it out. By the way, if we can get to 150 likes, I'll take a shot. All right, we're 25 likes away. Yeah, peach vodka. Very good. So we're 25 likes away from 150 likes. If we can get there, I'll take another shot. KJ Live Life coming in clutch with a couple of 20s. And then our friend Marilyn. Oh, no! He did it again! KJ Live Life has sent in $60 in like 3 minutes. What are we doing? Oh my gosh, my face is going to hurt for the rest of the day. You guys realize this, right? Oh my! I'm gonna have to walk around the office with like a giant red mark on the side of my face. KJ, you're a freaking legend, man. I hope you don't send in any more, though. You won't. You won't send in another one. I'm calling it right now. It's the count is gonna stop at 4. All right, the count is stopping at 4. God damn it. K Britt comes in with another 20. So we're up to 5.
No way.
So Brian Hagen comes in and says, how does the Black Diamond Club work? Is it all in one or over one season or over time? So it's one stream. Okay, so throughout one stream, if you put in $500 or more, then you become a Black Diamond. But by the way, KJ Live Life, you're two more 20s away from Gold Club. I'm just gonna say that I don't want to get slapped 2 more times. But if KJ Live Life sends in 2 more 20s or a 40, will slap me 2 more times, and he gets to join Gold Club.
I got folded tortillas here.
God damn it! All right, keep them coming. I'm telling you, the count is stopping at 5, all right? No more $20 super chats, okay?
It would be a real shame if y'all sent in more.
Get this over with.
This one's for you, Brian. Oh, that was bad.
No, here. You have too small. Like, here.
No,
What?
I wanted too small for maximum force.
Oh! Oh, shit. Ah! By the way, KJ Live Life just sent, we got another one. KJ, you're 1 more 20 away from Gold Club. Ah, God.
The tortilla was gone.
Dude.
We're going new tortilla.
God damn it.
How many was that? 3?
That's 3.
So we have 2 more?
3 more. I have a feeling KJ's going to put in another one. Oh! Oh, dude. Got me right in the ear. Ah. Oh.
Let's go!
You guys better not send any more, man, because my face hurts.
Let's go! Let's go!
So KJ is one $20 super chat away. I'm pretty sure he's 1 away.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, he is.
So KJ is, Limesy says it looks way less painful. Well, I'm telling you, can you guys see this? I don't know if you guys can see this with the lights, but like it's.
Oh, KJ! He's now a Gold Club member!
KJ Live Life, the newest Gold Club member with a $20 super chat.
Go, KJ!
Everybody spam KJ in the chat.
Executive producer Sam Brown is here. Oh, this can wait. Okay.
Everybody spam KJ!
I promise I'm not this short. Jack is just 6'7".
No, you're just a midget.
Whoa, you can't say that.
I can say it.
It's 2024. You can't say that.
Oh, ow.
Let's go!
Dude. All right, here. Okay, so we got the king of tortilla slaps. So Sam Brown. So this guy right here, Sam Brown,
Executive producer Sam.
he is the king of tortilla slaps. I'll say it right now. If we get a $50 super chat, he gets to slap.
Please do it.
He gets to slap me not once, not twice, but 3 times.
No way. Is this Christmas?
So Sam Brown is known. I don't know. But if someone sends in a $50 super chat in the next 3 minutes, 3 slaps. All right? That is my deal with you guys. If it,
Oh my God. Let's go. Come on. KJ says he'll do it. KJ says he'll do it.
oh no.
Yeah, you
And Olympic 6 is in the chat too. It's Jover for you.
I'm just gonna stay in the room, I think.
Sam's gonna stay here.
I am so fucked. Oh my god.
You made the deal, not me.
Oh! KJ, live life. No way.
Woo! Oh boy.
You just had to go and do that to me, didn't you?
Let's
KJ?
go.
Fuck.
So much tortilla. There's so much.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, you have options.
So much space. Can we get a full screen?
Yeah, give me one moment here.
Oh, this makes me happy.
That's not full screen.
Oh, do you want a full?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Two for the people. Here.
Full. We'll get you a full here.
This is the highlight of his year, and it's already.
Let's go,
January.
KJ.
It's early. A lot of time left.
Everyone spam slap.
You really want this?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh no.
Oh!
The tortilla went flying.
Oh!
Get the ice ready, Cassie.
Two more.
Get the ice ready.
Dude, somebody
I'll go backhand second one. It's not as
Wait, front hand, backhand?
Oh my
I'm
god.
gonna go backhand front.
Okay.
I'm regretting this so much right now.
That's correct.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Oh!
Let's go. Executive producer Sam.
Fuck the Bills.
Oh my.
The things we do for you people.
Dude, I'm actually tearing up a little bit. That hurts so bad. Oh my god, dude.
Oh my goodness.
All right, we made a real mess of this here.
Executive producer Tyler Smith is now here as
I
well.
almost killed Jack.
Oh,
What's going on, Tyler Smith?
I just want to come here and say.
Native of close to Buffalo, New York, by the way.
By the way, how did those Seacocks do a couple weeks ago, buddy?
Seahawks, listening to New Era in Seattle. We're on to bigger and better things.
Tyler Smith is close to New York, he has a lot of friends from Buffalo, so it's F. Smitty.
And that's why I say, Bills by 40!
Do you hear this?
Bills by 40!
F. Tyler.
Hey, somebody send in a 50. I get to slap Smitty 3 times. How about that? Someone send in another
F.
50.
Smitty.
I'll slap Smitty 3 times. All right, the timer restarts.
3 minutes.
3 minutes. I will slap Seacox.
By the way,
Seacox fan
all
Tyler
of those,
Smith.
all of those were for Brian because Sperry can't say your freaking name. All of them.
I'm so sorry, Brian. I honestly didn't think we would.
Yeah. Listen to Brian. F the Bills. Everyone type FBUF in the chat.
All right, so we got 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
KJ says how much?
$50.
50 KJ.
$50, and I'll slap the living shit out of Tyler Smith 3 times.
I'm ready for this.
I want to. I've been slapped 8 times, at least 8 times today. All right?
Yeah, but now we get to inflict some pain.
Now I want to do so. Now I'm a little bit angry now. I want to do some slapping now.
KJ, you're a madman. if
This
you do
guy
this.
said Bills by 40. This guy needs to freaking pay. This guy needs to pay. We got 2.
Oh,
we got
man.
2 minutes left.
Oh! Get in here, Smitty!
Get a tortilla ready, Smith. Let's go.
KJ, you're a madman.
Get the
you're getting
tortilla ready.
slapped.
You're getting slapped.
Get up there. You're getting slapped.
All right.
Tyler Smith, who claims to be a Buffalo fan, home in the world's most overrated chicken wings.
It's Bills by 50!
Do you hear this shit?
Every 50 that comes in, we add 3 slaps.
KJ, you legend.
KJ's a legend. Get over here, Smitty.
You can go across the camera. It doesn't even matter now.
Send me full screen here. It's my turn to do some slapping.
Oh, you like to slap, don't you?
All right, send me full screen here. There we go. Step back a little bit. Step back. Give me a little.
I mean, doesn't he just look like a New York scumbag?
Look at this. Little shorty here. Little shorty.
He just looks like he eats. He
He
looks like he eats bacon, egg, and cheeses and buffalo wings.
All right, take off the glasses. Put
He
them on
can't even
set.
see, anyways.
He can't even see me slap him. All right, ready?
Oh my
That
God!
tortilla broke. Fuck
That
the
was
Bills.
ridiculous.
2 more to go. We got 2 more to go.
Maybe don't kill him. Don't kill him.
I'm gonna kill him.
Don't kill him. No way.
Fuck the Bills. One more. You ready? Oh, I got him in the neck.
Unbelievable. That's what New York scumbags get.
Oh, so Limesy says 50 and Jack slaps Coop. Fine. Someone sends in another 50. You guys,
F it.
You can do whatever you want. I can slap Smitty. Coop can slap me. If someone sends it, it's Slapsgiving here on
It's
Steelers
Slapsgiving,
Talk, all
apparently.
right? It's Slapsgiving. Every 50 we get.
Steelers dad.
Oh!
Let's go!
Steelers dad keeps it rolling.
No way.
Steelers dad, who do you want to slap, and who do you want to do
who do
the
you want to
slapping?
get slapped?
Let us know who.
I think Smitty's off the table now.
All right. Let me know, Steelers dad. If you really want us to get Smitty again, we can get Smitty.
Smitty's probably off the table. Oh, God, they're all saying me.
Oh, is it Coop's turn?
Let's see what Steelers dad has to
Is it
say.
Coop's turn? Steelers dad. Steelers dad. Steelers dad.
Sperry slaps Smitty. All right, let me see. I'll see if Tyler Smith has some other work to do right now, but I will see
All right.
if he's available.
We need some more tortillas, too. These are gone.
They're Jover?
These are Jover.
You slapped him that hard?
Yeah, I slapped him as hard as I freaking could.
My goodness. All right.
Just tell him it's one slap, though, not 3.
I'll go get one more tortilla.
All right, we'll get one more tortilla. Let's go. We got some cleaning up to do in this studio afterwards, by the way.
Sperry's going to be cleaning up his tortillas.
I'm gonna be vacuuming here, but hey, it's worth it, baby. We're having a good time.
Oh, Steelers dad says, if not, then Coop. Oh, God.
All right, so it's up to Smitty.
All right. Let me go see what Smith Dog's up to. I'm going to go get a tortilla.
Let's go get a Smitty in here. All right, so you guys have been freaking fantastic. Every 50 we get, we'll add another slap to the total. Maybe. We're at $300 in super chats. That's unbelievable. So if you guys keep sending them, we'll keep slapping. All right, that's my promise to you guys. So we'll slap hopefully Smitty here in about 2 minutes. He said Bills by 40, guys. 40. And then he said 50. No way. No way. Oh! KJ Live Life adds another to the total. Unbelievable. Everybody spam KJ in the chat. KJ, KJ, KJ. Let's go. So Elliptic is saying, how close is KJ to Black Diamond? He's got to be getting relatively close here. So let me count. 100. We'll count when Coop gets back. So, KJ, let me know in the chat. Who do you want to slap? Do you want me to slap Smitty again? Or do we slap Coop? He hasn't been slapped today. Oh, he says we're slapping Coop. KJ sent in another 50. Are we getting Smith? Oh, so all right. So Smith has to go live. So that means I get to slap Coop twice. Let's go. But
We have one healthy tortilla left.
oh my God. By the way, can you check real quick? Check real quick how close KJ is to Black Diamond, because he's got to be getting close. I think he might be like 300 away, though. Yeah. 200. He's at 210. So he's 200. So KJ, you're $290 away from Black Diamond. All right, I'll just let you know. All right, I know. Coop says it's unbelievable. I know, dude. I have some serious cleaning up to do after this. You ready, Coop?
It's the only tortilla we have, so once it's gone, it's gone.
It's gone. When it's gone, it's gone. All right. We ready? This is is unbelievable. Ready? Other side. I got him in the mouth. I got him in the mouth. Okay.
This is unreal.
Oh my gosh. Brian Hagen says, what's this week's raffle? You're going to have to show up to the watch party on Sunday to find out. It arrived today, by the way. Gotta tell you, it's a pretty freaking cool item.
Oh, I can't believe what's just transpired in the last 20 minutes.
This was one of the funnest episodes I've ever done of Steelers Talk Live. I gotta say. So shout out to KJ Live Life. Shout out to Steelers Dad. Shout out to K Britt.
Shout out to Maryland.
Shout out to
Steelers
Maryland.
Dad.
Everybody that super chatted today. You guys are the real ones. Thank you guys so much.
We'll see you guys Sunday. Bring your A game. Steelers in the playoffs. Let's freaking go.
Let's go beat some Bills, baby.
Let's go.
Let's get it going. All right. We'll see you guys later. And until next time.